Last session, the party determined that a Thessalonian thief named Krosevin had blackmailed two of the Pathfinder agents in training into creating a distraction at Heidmarch's manor. During the distraction of the exploding alchemical lab, Krosevin snuck into Sheila's study and stole the fake horn that had been on display. After working their way up through contacts within Krosevin's two-timer gang and a chaotic chase through the districts of Magnamar, they'd cornered Krosevin in this warehouse. We concluded just as they dispatched Krosevin and his underlings.
Well, that was not pleasant. You okay over there, Vanarel?
Vanarel will come limping back across this northern hallway slowly, but nothing else is coming or running away now. I think we got everybody.
Certainly looks like that's their leader. He's got that long black hair and whatnot. But see, I don't think we know why he was after this outside of to get in good. How did he even know that we had the horn?
Well,
Because he's going to start picking through the leader's stuff to look, taking their loot, but also more looking communications and that sort of.
is this guy dead or dying?
Oh, he's
Dead.
He's dead.
I'm hoping he's all the way.
Well, we could have asked him, but
That got a little hairy there. There wasn't particularly time.
yeah, no, that's fine. I don't blame you. They definitely put up a fight.
Vanarel's going to crouch down, kind of leaning a bit against the toppled crates that definitely in pain grunt and sound just for a second. He's going to untie that blue and yellow cloth that was around this guy's arm. I want to see if how big that unfurls, if this is an actual formal flag.
It's not that large. Probably about 1.5 feet by about 2.5 feet. So not one that would be on display of a ship or a house. Maybe the type of thing a kid would have waved around at a parade.
That flag's Thessalonian? Do we know its affiliation?
Pretty sure this is New Thassalon. Am I remembering that wrong?
You remembered
Yeah.
before that it was the flag from Zenedarasil. Of the different Thessalonian kingdoms, this is the more western and the more repressive of the two New Thessalonian kingdoms.
Gotcha. Okay, that's what it was.
But how did they even know about this? That's my question. I'll start once I've picked through his stuff. I'm going to start looking around the room to see if there's any evidence here.
You can give me a perception check on that.
Yeah, I think Daegron will go around with Dezi and help him look, shift boxes and things like that for him.
So as you're poking around, you're not finding a lot useful. You're finding a couple scraps of paper here and there that look like they may have been on a messenger bird of some kind, and it did mention valuable horn.
That's concerning. Libby's been mentioning it left and right, but I don't think they should know about it at this point.
I haven't really been talking about it with many people, just you guys.
Oh, that was only like one, Dezi.
Vanarel will, I guess, help out with a bit more of the searching around.
That just leads outside.
Oh, yeah. Daegron goes towards the one in the back and retrieves his hatchet from it, too.
I can take a society check or any lore that you think is psychology, understanding the mind of a person. From what you've seen, Dezi, with the way this person has this very tattered and torn flag that they seem to cherish, but at the same time, it is so run down that they must not care too much about it precisely. So something about Zenedarasil is probably, or was probably, his homeland, and he has very conflicted feelings toward it, is your guess. Maybe trying to steal something that sounds like it came from there was both a way of showing he's protecting his home and at the same time owning a piece of his home. It doesn't feel like he was necessarily doing this on behalf of someone else.
We didn't get the sense he maybe didn't fully grasp what this is, right? It just is a powerful, expensive thing to kind of get them the street cred they needed.
Yes, from last time it did sound like the choice of target, it didn't even matter what they stole as long as they stole something unique and stole it from the Pathfinders.
Well, okay. They still must have known we had it. Word has gotten out somewhat. Should we head back and... Oh, hold on. You see Dezi go over and lay his hands on Vanarel.
Yeah, Vanarel was just coming down to lean against these barrels, starting to take out some of his healing kit, trying to wrap himself up a little bit.
So while the treating wounds is going on, what are Libbiel and Daegron doing?
I think Daegron's just getting ready to head out from here. I don't think there's too much more that he's looking for. He's probably he heads back towards the front of the building and takes a look outside, make sure there's no one else that maybe could be accomplices.
Libby, who had been running for the better part of 10 minutes, feels really winded. Had to go through a fight in which people actually hit her. She's just laying down on the ground out here, taking in the air of the ocean.
Dezi will spend some time while this is going on, trying to figure out what these items are.
So looking at his inventory, it looks like you already took most of the interesting things off of him. The one thing that was probably worth mentioning, of course, is he did have whatever horn the Pathfinders had put out on display as their bait for this. Yes, that one you will identify. It is a polished demon horn. Very, very believable thing for pretending to be a demon horn. This is just not a demon lord's horn. This is a spell heart. You can at least use it until you return it. That gives you resistance to unholy if you affix it to your armor, or it does additional damage on your weapon, mental damage, anytime you've cast a spell, basically.
I mean, it seems like we could potentially use that as a decoy as well.
Here, I was wondering if it was actually going to look like what we have, but I guess so.
You have recognized a couple of other things that were not as well known. You have a +1 short sword, was easy to tell apart. A Tanglefoot bag lesser also was pretty easy to identify. A Pennant of the Occult you've had for some time that you were very puzzled with your recent level up. It looks like you've learned to know what that one is. A Everlight crystal. +1 short sword, you know how +1s work. That's nothing new. Tanglefoot bag lesser is a useful tool for immobilizing crowds of people at times. Pennant of the Occult is a +1 bonus on occultism checks, as well as giving you the guidance cantrip. The Everlight crystal is the replacement for the ever-burning torch. So you now have a light source, perpetual light source that you can put somewhere.
We don't need to cast light on. Do you mind if I take this pendant? I could use it. This is one of my areas of study.
Yeah, sure.
Oh, Vanarel, you'll have to watch that crystal. It doesn't turn off.
Oh, you don't.
You have to stuff
Take
it
it
into
or
a
turn it
pocket or
upside down?
something.
All right, I'm done taking a breather. That's a lot of exercise for a day. Are we headed back?
Yeah. Did you want to? This horn could be a good decoy, Libby.
Yeah, I'm meaning to grab a specific scroll while we're in town. I've heard of a spell. It's not a very useful spell usually. It makes the item look lower quality.
Yeah, my fox told me something about that. But I
Yeah.
thought it only lasted for a little bit.
Yeah, I'm gonna have to keep casting it, I'm sure.
I mean, I don't know if my fox can talk to your bee, but
They can communicate. They can teach each other spells.
maybe fox can not quick can help.
Yes. All right. Point is, I do need to find roll.
You'd see Dezi jotting down a long list of we're gonna need this if we're going on a long journey, and this. Oh yes, of course. Probably a tent, and it just kind of has a notebook out and is writing down all the things that we're gonna need for journeying halfway across the continent.
Meanwhile, Libby's preparations look like, okay, I guess I need food.
Four of
As you guys
I
are all
bel-
standing there, I think Daegron turns back towards the group, and as he kind of looks out the down the street and says, we all finished here. We should probably head back and let them know we took care of things."
Like Dezi would have done that probably while walking. They had their note.
So if
So
you
you
write
could-
all that down and then feed it to Nadquik, do you remember it longer, or?
That's a good question.
I don't think that's how it works.
Wins.
Okay.
I'm not.
I think Natquick just gets some indigestion, and it's not very helpful.
So as you leave the warehouse and you're making your way back through some of the different districts of Magnamar to get back to Heidmarch Manor, you can do some of this more mundane shopping. You know that you're scheduled, you think, to leave in a day or two. You might have a chance to shop again, but doing some now, we don't need to roleplay any of that out, but if there's mundane things you want to have purchased, please go ahead and do that. And eventually, as you make your way back through the city here, you will end up back at Heidmarch Manor. You get back to Heidmarch Manor, and you are checking in with Sheila. You're back. You looked a little worse for wear. What happened out on the streets?
Yeah, we found the leader of the gang, and he tried to murder us, and it was a bit hit or miss, but we survived and got the horn back. And so we went to the warehouse, and there were some people that were. I look around to make sure the two novices aren't here. We'll say it looked like they were gonna off the two novices. We got them to surrender, and then they told us the location of their the person. I forget his name now.
Rosaphon.
Rosamund. We tracked him down, and then there was a big fight with lots of boxes. I don't want to bore you.
You were fighting
It looks-
boxes? Were those mimics or animated constructs? What was the flavor of that?
Oh no, no.
Oh no,
We were using the boxes to fight.
we pushed them over on top of them. It was kind of boring.
I see. Do we need to add that to our training tools? Possibly.
It's
Anyway,
rather-
Environmental
effective.
awareness is always important.
and did you recover the stolen item?
Yeah, we found that other demon horn you dressed up to look like.
Oh, very good. Yes. We would like to have that back. Is that acceptable?
Yeah, it's a nice spell heart. Yeah.
It's a
Can't be
good
too
decoy
cool.
as well, but it is yours.
She takes it back, puts it into, not on the bookshelves behind her, but in a desk drawer to the side. Does kind of rattle around. It feels like there might be a lot of other weird knickknacks in that drawer. Well, I know we told you that we would help get you across the continent. Let me tell you a little more. First, while you were away, we did continue to do some more research into your horn. And I do want to say thank you again for all the help you have done. We are not used to relying on outsiders to solve our own problems, and we do feel we owe you something, and we will try to help. You are very right to be worried about this horn. We need to get you to Eindo for his expertise in sealing such items while we continue to research proper disposal. I fear it will take quite some time to fashion a longer-term solution, and I think it is safer for you all to be, well, not for you, for the horn, to be further from population sources. And so we come to one of the secrets we're choosing to share with you. We have access to a system of extra-dimensional portals, a hedge maze we call the Maze of the Open Road. Distance and direction traveled have little bearing to distance on Galarian, or other planets for that matter. Most of the portals are stable, but recent efforts to establish connections in Tinja have appeared to have caused unexpected new portals to open, some stable, some not. One of these newly opened, less stable portals is out west, close to our base camp, in the Finendar Forest. In fact, the base camp has now moved to the portal, and that is where Eindo is currently stationed. We'd like to send you through tomorrow. We have heard that things are shifting again, so the sooner we send you, the better. There are stories that the landmarks that we use for navigation that have been stable for years are shifting. She turns and looks at Daegron. We can take care of your brother for you, have no fear. He can either study here with Canavan, working as a logistics aide, or continue to interview with some of the shipping companies. And now I'm sure all of you may have some questions.
Yeah, I guess I have one. Will we be able to breathe on this planet you're sending us to?
Yes, the Maze of the Open Road is its own thing. It is not another planet. I would caution when looking through portals, make sure the one you're emerging from looks like a place you think you could breathe. That is an important question. The path we'll be sending you, you'll enter from a portal here on our mansion, and you'll exit from one over on the Finendar Forest. Try to avoid passing through any portals that look dark, like the blackness of space or a horrible withered moon, or sands, shifting red sands. Those are the ones I think you should be especially wary of.
Okay.
And you say things have been shifting in there. I'm assuming you have directions for us. Are you? How confident are you those will actually be still valid?
I feel pretty confident on at least the next day or two. Beyond that is when I would become more worried from the stories we've been hearing. And she recites off a series of directions for you. It's in your handout. Let me share this with you. From the entrance, travel down the right-hand path. After a couple minutes, at the Trident Fork, take the center prong and you'll reach the main courtyard. Turn right, travel another 10 to 15 minutes, you'll enter the topiary clearing. Ignore the side paths. Some of them are opening right now. Just go straight across. After another 30 minutes, you should reach the Faehenge. Turn left. Walk into the old temple and follow the path pointed by the northwest statue. You'll know you're near the end when you find the series of figure 8 interlocking paths. Simply go through the middle and out the far side. You'll pass through 2 more clearings after that, no real defining features, right at the first, straight at the second. You'll come upon a portal back to Golarion. When you look through this one, you should see red pine trees and open fields, lots of tents. If you see that, you know you're at the right place. If you don't see that, I advise you to make your own best decision. And I suggest holding this sealed scroll case very visibly when exiting. And she hands over a scroll case. She explains it's just a message that identifies that you are friends of the society. She's the one who sent them. It sounds like they may be expecting you, but because these portals are shifting, they are still a little worried about intruders coming through this way.
All right. Well, that seems not at all ominous. So it's interesting that these are directions and not a guide.
I would have preferred to have sent a guide with you. Maybe in better times, I would have asked Ingrid and Tagrima to help. Right now, they are going through some punishment and re-education.
You've mentioned
Yeah.
being short-staffed. I can understand that as well.
That's entirely understandable now that you explain it like that.
Most of our agents are already where you are going. They all left about a week ago. This rapidly went from a interesting investigation to claiming maybe 50% of the active agents are on site investigating numerous ruins, weird structures, and just this part of the forest we never knew had this much history. And now that we found it, we want to understand it.
Well,
And this should lead us directly to your camp. Sorry, it's been a long day. What's the name of the man on the other side we're supposed to speak to?
Eindo Klein is the expert on sealing and preservation, safety, often the voice of reason when it comes to not opening every tomb you find and investigating it. He may not be the leader of the camp. Last I heard, some other higher-ranking people were arriving on site to take command. But Eindo is probably the most knowledgeable about what you carry. What can be done to make it more safe?
well, I think it's a good thing in this situation that we're not with the society then. So we don't have to answer those higher ranking people. You can just talk to your expert.
I expect Eindo, knowing him, will find some excuse to give you a task. As you say,
I
you're not
don't
members of the
mind.
society. You do not have to accept. But,
I don't mind trading favors.
exactly, if he is choosing something for you, I would suspect it has some relation, even if neither you nor he can exactly identify why. His intuition about these connections between dangerous relics has always been very good.
Well, I do have curiosities like what you found out about the horn itself and other things, but maybe we should eat dinner first.
Yes. Oh, I will share the one piece. I did manage to find one, I think, of the 3 reagents. Well, I didn't find it. I know what it is. Needed to effect destruction of your horn.
Oh,
I believe it has something to do with a peach or a fruit of some kind, of an arboreal from another plane? We'll need more details. But for the first step, it feels like a ancient arboreal from the plains of Elysium that has grown a peach fruit, and you need to wash it in the juice of that fruit.
oh, I'm sure Elysium will be so willing to part with such a treasure.
That is
This
likely
will
the
be
problem. Elysium still tends to be nice, not violent, but my understanding these fruits only grow every century or so, and they are said to make the finest drink. And giving that up is often very challenging for them.
You see the life just fade from Libby's eyes. I thought this was going to take maybe a few years.
And at this point, she does kind of usher you over to the dining hall. One more dinner here with all of them. They bring out all kinds of great food. You are seated here with most of the staff. Sheila and Kenevin both. Eki and Tiki are both here. Wumbrat, Aberis comes in. Noticeably absent are the other two initiates who are still cleaning and are still serving their penance for what they have done. But it appears that their plan is to try to redeem them, not to kick them out. Any discussion over dinner between you or with the staff here?
Yeah, I think Daegron would ask Sheila here. Oh, that path you mentioned. Those were detailed instructions, but is there any dangers through there we'd have to worry about?
There should not be. There used to be, but not recently. There's magical properties, so the whole place will look like some noble's hedge maze. Paths tend to be 10 feet wide, 20 feet tall. You can climb the walls, but upon reaching a height of 20 feet, you feel like you hit your head on an invisible ceiling. So you cannot go around the maze. You must go through the maze. Trying to push your way through the maze and cut your holes tends to also go pretty poorly. It fights back. Beyond
So
that,
play by the rules.
sadly, it's a play by the rules. Outside of Chondria, who has not been seen in decades, there have been no major dangers.
What is this Chondria, did you say?
Chondria was a Medusa who had wandered into the maze at one point early on in its life and had created something of a statue gallery. We have since driven Chondria out and restored most of the statues to the living. There's always rumors that people see her again. None of these have been substantiated. No one has gone missing. No new statues have appeared.
Well, good to know either way.
Certainly does seem strange.
As mentioned, there have been increased unexplored portals opening, partially due to our own instigation of a new portal over across the world. Also, the recent return of the planes of wood and metal has also partially destabilized and added additional portals. Elementals tend to be common here. They had some bargain or agreement with the original creator of the maze. It feels like this is some form of neutral ground for elementals who need to discuss things.
Friendly, though?
So far, yes. The official rules of this being a neutral ground seems like it is preserved across time. Elementals might be angry when meeting here and arguing, but at least the ones who are supposed to be here are still on, at least for elementals, their best behavior.
Maybe off topic now, but how has the repairs of Tiki's treasure?
Oh, we will be able to fix the alchemical lab. I do not think we can fix an exploded taxidermied vulture.
Yeah, I've got that in my pack. If you want it back, I can give it to you, but yeah, it's up to you.
Tiki would probably appreciate giving it a proper burial. I do have to ask, why is it in your pack?
It's safe there? It was
It's easier
evidence
to-
in our investigation.
I
It's
see.
easier to carry that way.
I
It's
see.
Slightly more sanitary.
But do you have to clean burned, exploded, multi-days dead vulture guts out of your pack now?
No, it's a magical pack. You see Desi's eyes light up. It's a knapsack of halfling kind.
Oh, you are very well equipped indeed, my friend.
There you go. See, right there. There's the vulture. You just pull it out and it comes right out.
Oh gosh!
Don't
Right
take it out of the,
When
at
we're-
the dining table.
while we're eating dinner, of course.
Yes, Tiki looks like she has lost her sense of appetite now.
And so
Yes,
did
might be
Libby.
crying in the corner.
Wow. Okay.
I didn't think of that. Sorry. You just asked about the vulture and sorry.
Dezi.
It does look
We're
like at
going to
least
have-
Sheila is used to these kind of faux pas, excited junior agents who thought leads to action immediately. It's like, I could make an agent out of you, I am sure. But that is not my job.
Sadly, our journeys don't travel along the same road, right?
Eventually, dinner resumes. Tiki's probably taken the vulture away somewhere else. She does not come back to the dinner. The conversation does pick up eventually. Do you have other questions for her about the maze or about where you're headed?
Does magic work in the maze?
Yes,
And
yes, all the usual ways. To our best understanding, the maze was created by a druid long ago, and then he gifted it to us. Miraculously, the maze itself exists on the grounds over in Gult, but
Oh, it's
it also
a nice little
is
place.
this other place as well. Very odd. I do not understand it, but it does seem that it is most keyed to our world, and that these majority of the portals are to places on Golarion. The portals to other worlds are very rare.
We will still endeavor to probably avoid the other world portals.
The one I mentioned to be most concerned about would be Eos. You do not want to end up on that airless planet ruled by the undead.
Yeah, I think we'd last about as long as my air bubble.
That sounds rather unpleasant.
Almost all of the other ones, I think unless you were extremely unlucky, you would have enough time to realize your mistake and come back into the portal.
Oh, good. I was about to ask if we were able to come back to the portals if we
Yes,
do
all of
seem
these
to.
portals are two-way. No special thing is needed to enter or exit them. All of the ones we control, we would have built around a manor house around them or some other structure. They probably would have guards of Pathfinder Society. But there might be some that are not controlled.
You said you don't trust the paths after a day or two. I'm assuming we'll be okay. I think we all need a night's rest, but we probably want to leave first thing in the morning.
That is what I would recommend. If you have any last minute shopping needs, I am happy to send some of our agents out. I was going to send Tiki, but I think we'll need to give her her time. Maybe we'd send Wumbrat out on a last-minute shopping run. If there's anything you need us to pick up, we can be your agents in the city for that while you are preparing your own. I assume you need to have some time to discuss among the four of you your plans.
I think that would be probably the best. Do we have anything else that we didn't manage to get while we were coming back?
I think
In
the only
terms-
thing we were looking at were getting silver weapons crafted out of our materials.
I'm afraid you don't have enough time to
Yeah.
get them crafted. However, you sounds like you have the raw materials. I would be happy to trade for finished items. We could find those at cost. So you'd get the items earlier, we'd have the silver to work with.
That would be amazing. I'm assuming finding a striking rune and getting it added to my crossbow would be relatively simple.
Relatively simple. It would take the little bit of time. We can probably find one. There might even be one in the lodge. Grabbing a crafter to come over who can handle that this evening, I think we could call in a favor to get that done tonight. So she
Oh,
would
no problem.
see you all back to your lodge, and she'll send Wumbrat over after like a half hour to pick up any special orders that you've come up with. We don't need to role play through that right now, but if you have things you want him to pick up, you can finish your shopping offline like that. Is there any
Right.
discussion you want between four of you? Anything that's coming to mind about you're about to travel through a weird extra-dimensional space across the continent? How is that making you feel?
I think we need to talk about the possibility, what we do in case they become a little too interested in the horn.
You're talking about people we might meet on the other side.
Yes,
or on the way through.
just in general, yes.
I mean, it sounded like you might want to disguise the horn. If we had a way to, that's why I wish we had the other horn. We could have dropped it and ran. Beyond that, specifics would depend on the situation.
Yeah, that
If we,
sounds
if we
good.
have to cut and run, we can always do that.
I'm pretty sure I can survive out in the wilderness for a while, especially in a woodlands. I don't know what specific threats we'd encounter. Speaking of more towards our way there, but I can navigate mazes and things like that probably fairly well. I don't know if anyone else has skills to follow a map particularly well. I did
I
get us a
don't-
compass. I'm not sure if it'll work in the maze, but we do have that.
I think I'm just going to rely on my instincts and those directions. If it's a big hedge maze, sure, it may be on another planet or leading to somewhere on another planet, but if it's in a maze the way that Sheila describes, I feel like we should be pretty well set.
Fair enough. I'll also probably get up a little early. I want to visit the local temple here and say my prayers before we go.
Yes, I put my trust in you all. A hedge maze through portals a bit beyond me. I'll make sure if something tries to kill you that it dies first. Beyond that, I don't think I'll be too much help there.
I think my biggest role is just to carry that stupid thing. Honestly, I'm kind of a dead weight for you guys.
I disagree,
But
but
certainly helped battle in the past. I think we're all kind of becoming familiar with what we can do, both ourselves and each other.
Hmm, I suppose.
Dezi does their best to cheer you up, which, given their history, is probably not terribly well. They try.
So the night will pass. You wake up in the morning. Desi does your quick little visit to a temple. And then you are ushered into the basement of the lodge. And you see a grand double door. On the other side of it, not a basement, you see a very vibrant looking hedge maze. You
Huh.
see twisted branches of bright, vivid green stretching off into the distance, and you see this trident fork up at the head, a little bit ahead of you. They usher you through. They say, if you need to come back through here, you knock 3 times on this door, and someone will be here monitoring it. And it does seem like that also might explain why they are understaffed here, because someone is down here all the time monitoring this.
Thank you again for your help. Safe passages to you, and may your journey be long.
Take care. At least it's going to be a beautiful trip.
You spend a good
I
20
like that.
minutes or so following the directions you were given, and the first courtyard you would reach, it's before the topiary one mentioned. There is a fairly large courtyard. The twisting path of the hedge maze widens to a long stone causeway roofed by marble arches. The causeway leads to a courtyard surrounded by ancient stone structures, the largest of which must have once been a palace. An enormous marble statue of a robed figure stands on a pedestal at the center of the courtyard, and a garland of red flowers adorns the statue's brow.
Do I recognize the figure?
I can take a society check on that.
I'm more interested in the flowers.
The society check looks like Dezi did not know who it was, but Vanarel, you must have been paying more attention at dinner when Sheila was talking about this. And this is a person known as the Forest King Narvin. Under the stories you were told, the creator of this extra-dimensional space.
oh, this is the guy who gave the maze or sold the maze to the Pathfinder.
And Libbiel was looking at the flowers. You can give me a nature check on that, or a perception check. I would take either.
I'll take the perception check.
I mean, it's pretty obvious that it's made from some of the roses that you see occasionally blooming from the hedge maze.
Okay. Are they fresh or do they just look
They
like...
look very fresh.
I don't think people are coming in here to change the flowers every day. So I think those flowers are probably either still living up there on his head or under some sort of spell.
Guess that's a little surprising.
I mean, this whole place is pretty fantastic. Evergreen flowers don't seem too out of place.
It's just a property of the maze that I'm interested in studying. More of the what it does rather than the who or why.
Should we journey on then?
So you continue making your way through this long branching maze. After leaving that center courtyard and heading toward the first place you have on the map, it's 10 minutes of journeys. It's not a straight line, but there haven't been any other branches to throw you off. Then it opens up into a large open area.
Is this in theory the topiary that was described?
Yes.
If the topiary moves,
6 painstakingly trimmed topiaries stand in 2 rows within the clearing in this maze. They're shaped like fierce-looking beasts, a giant ape beating its chest, a stately unicorn, a giant mantis, a menacing cobra, a rearing owlbear, and a boar poised to charge. A gentle breeze makes the topiaries rustle and sway, almost as if they were alive.
That's a bit
Huh.
unsettling.
I guess I'd look at the first couple that are nearest.
Yeah, Daegron starts walking over towards the unicorn one. That seems more friendly, and he's just gonna take a closer look at it as it's kind of swaying in the
And
breeze.
we need to pause things right there,
oops.
as
here.
as 3 of them come to life. The ones that are not coming to life are still cover related because you can hide behind them, so they are still on the map. So let me just show
But
health
could
bars.
put like there's restrained condition on them or something.
That could work as well. That might be easier to see.
I believe that does put like the chain across it.
Yes, let me do So go ahead and roll
They did
initiative.
mention-
I think you have them toggled in correctly.
Not the unicorn.
I picked right. The bear is my friend.
So up first is the one shaped like an owl bear, who is going to come towards you all. Not particularly fast. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. 5, 15, 20. So it has to triple move, and it gets right up there next to Daegron. Libbiel is up next.
We just got here, but I feel like already I should probably do something about this. So, just going to cast. I know it's a really bad spell, but I love it. Please, right here.
Okay. So they will both get. Let me just check.
I think that's in 30 feet. If
Oh.
not, I can move.
Yeah, you could definitely move. So they both need to give us a save.
Yeah, and I just need to move one square. Ooh.
So let's see. The unicorn did fine, and the owl bear also did fine. Critical success from both of them due to incapacitation.
There. So I was in range for it.
Okay.
Oh, darn. Looks like they saved instead.
Dezi.
So yeah, living topiary things, I think I want to know about them. Since they seem violent, I'd kind of want to know how best to combat them. And did we use fire on bushes? I don't know.
Yeah, so these
You
these are topiary monsters. You have heard of these before. You know, this is not a unique thing to this maze, or else you probably would not have heard of them. But you have heard of places where residue magic seems to seep into areas that are magical themselves, and sometimes it brings creatures to life. You're not used to it happening without some form of like fey presence or other kind of mischievousness affecting the magic. It's not naturally on its own. Yes, they would definitely have a weakness to fire, being plants. And you know that piercing does not tend to work well on them.
Oh, well, that's going to make my crossbow less effective. I think it's fine to cast a bless right now. I think that's going to be my last two actions.
Up next is the unicorn, which is right next to people. Yeah, it's going to try to gore Daegron with its horn made out of branches. And its first strike is a miss. It will then try a second one, and that one is going to crit you.
Ooh. On the nat 20.
Yes. And then on its third action, it's going to try to shove you down. Makes a trip attempt. Looks like that is a fail to trip you, though. So it does not manage to knock you over. So the horn stabbed at you once, missed, stabbed at you a second time, and tried to throw you to the ground, but you managed to stay on your feet. And you're up next.
Okay, so Daegron's going to keep his axe up in a defensive position as he's fighting throughout this, so he's going to keep dueling parry active. And then with his second action, he is going to try to strike back at the unicorn bush. That's not a great roll. And then he'll go, as he kind of swings and goes wide on the first, he'll come with a backswing and try to go for a second here.
That will hit.
23. And that is going to be 13 points of slashing damage.
No difference than you expected on that damage. It's still looking in pretty good shape. Vanarel.
Okay. Well, my first instinct is to go rushing up to Daegron where those other two are there, but it looks like this giant bug topiary is about to come our way. It doesn't look like the other two are moving far more than usual.
Yes, the mantis looks like it will also be actually moving. The other three look like they are not alive. And Dezi was trying to confirm with Dagon, was one of those strikes a snagging strike?
Yes, sorry. It's as default, those are
Okay, yep.
those will always be. So yeah, as long as it's within melee range of me, it will be flat.
It's not actually grabbed. I'll put flat-footed on it. Off guard.
Off guard.
Okay.
I'm gonna stay here next to Libby. I got if I feel like if I go up there to deal with those owl unicorn and owl bear up there, that Libby's gonna get overrun by a giant insect bush. I will designate this thing as my prey, and then I will use my other 2 actions to ready a single action if that thing shows up next to me, which will be to hit it with hammers.
Since twin takedown's a single action, correct?
Right.
So you can ready that. Awesome. Okay. Sadly, your plan's not going to work because the mantis has reach, unlike the other 2. So it stops here
Ah.
and is going to swing at you twice. So that will hit you, regular hit, and a second swing as the other branch-like arm comes whacking back across and also hits you. However, I am going to give you a hero point for the first hour there for the attempting to ready, even if it did not work out here at all. And we are now up to the owlbear's turn. The owlbear has a target on Daegron. It will start off with a strike and miss. Try a second strike as its branch-like wings are just batting at your head. And then it's going to try to grab you. With a 24 against your Fortitude DC, I believe you will be
Yep,
grabbed.
that'll beat me. I'm at DC 20 on that. So
you're grabbed by it, but it got no damage on you. Libbiel.
Okay, well, Libbiel, seeing that things are going a little crazy, and she's going to try something she has never done before. It's going to cast Life Boost on Vanarel. I've never tried this before, so I'm sorry if it hurts.
So you should be able to drag that effect onto yourself, Vanarel, and you should be getting fast healing 2 for the next 4 rounds, I believe. Yes.
Then she's going to Animated Assault.
Okay, it failed. So roll your full damage.
Not a great roll.
Dezi.
Well, I got these for a reason. You see Dezi pull out some ammunition that looks kind of special and mutter a few words over it, and it starts glowing with fire. So I'm going to load some elemental ammunition into my crossbow, activate it, and take a single shot at the flat-footed one. But it's 1 persistent fire damage and 1 splash fire.
That will miss.
I will re-roll it.
Okay. That will hit. Okay, so you said 1 splash, 1 persistent fire on top of that?
Yes. So
Okay,
both
so-
of them should take 1 splash fire, and then the persistence only. Daegron, sorry, you're going to take a damage.
it's okay.
So 4 extra bonus points on the unicorn above what was listed. It took a little bit less because of its resistance to the piercing. And then the owlbear one is taking 4 points. And then I need to put a persistent on the unicorn. Is up next, who is on fire and not particularly happy. Does still have Daegron right in front of it, so it's going to try the same thing it did last time. Going to try to stab you with its horn first. It hits. It then tries a trip.
Ooh,
It slams you to the ground. That will break the grab on you, though.
nice.
It is forced movement. I'm going to say that does count here. And you'll be taking a d6 of damage. So 2 points from that.
Okay.
And then it's going to go charging over you to get to Dezi. You can swing from
I
the
can
ground,
still
of course. Yep.
So he'll swing at its ankles as it goes by. With a, let's see.
With
here.
your 20.
Hey, that's not 20. And for 26 points of slashing damage.
And that one kills it as it's burning to death here as well. Daegron.
Okay, first things first, he'll stand up from prone and hope this thing doesn't smack him back for it.
It does not.
Okay, and as he stands up, he's going to, seeing that they've still got one to the south, keep this more defensive fighting going. He's going to keep his dueling parry up, and then he will swing with his last action here. Hopefully cut it down to size like the other one. 31 to hit.
31 is a solid hit, is a crit.
Ooh, almost minimum damage. 14 points of slashing. Yes, that one will be off guard also.
Vanarel.
Right. Vanarel will mutter to himself something about bugs with long limbs, taking a step forward and initiating his plan he was definitely going to do last round, which is to flurry a couple of hammers onto things. Start with the Warhammer.
That will miss. That will also miss.
Formidable.
I think Vanarel's fears of bugs is being sparked by this topiary creature.
Got too many legs. Okay, I'll give it one more shot with my final swing.
That will hit.
Stop having so many legs. Bash it for 13.
It still has all of its legs, and it is up next. And it cocks its head to the side the way a mantis would, and then 1-2 lashes out with its two front legs for a hit and a second hit, and then it is going to step backward. Actually, no, it's going to step. Yeah, it doesn't know about the animated assault that much. It's trying to get away from Vanarel. So it's gonna stride back to there, keeping its distance.
Okay, I will. If it strides over that way, I will use my reaction, and I will take a swing at it because I am going to try to disrupt my prey.
I forgot you had picked that.
So did I until it tried to run. Get back here.
That's a hit. I don't think you disrupt on a hit. I think it has to be a crit, but it's still some extra
Correct.
damage.
Take 10 for its
It's
trouble.
looking in pretty bad shape now. Oh, I skipped Owlbear. Owlbear. Well, he wants to try to grab Daegron again, so we go for an attack first, swinging its wing-like branch, or branch-like wing. It's hard to tell which is which. Hits you for 12 points of damage, and then goes for the grab. It is going to grab you, and it will then, you can tell its instincts are telling it to bite you with its beak, because that's what owlbears do. But this topiary monster only has branches for arms and does not have a beak, so it tries to peck at you again with its other wing. And ooh, another natural 20 for 16 points. Are you still up?
Still up.
Okay, that was its turn. Libbiel.
Libbiel is going to sustain animated assault. I know that's very, very surprising.
So it gets a new save, I believe. It's going to do better. It got a success, so it'll take half damage.
Can't really heal Vanarel.
That is a hit. I'm assuming that was Livewire.
Livewire?
It took some damage from that. Dezi.
Dezi sees Daegron's in a bad way right now and is going to utter a prayer to the open road and safe travels and cast. So a healing light will appear around Daegron and will cast a heal.
Solid healing.
Thank you.
One more action.
I'll expand the blessing.
Daegron.
While I'm being held here, so for if force movement that gets you out, would you be able to trip an enemy that's grabbing you?
I think I would
To
allow
break
that in
grapple?
some cases, at least. So here I would allow it.
Okay. Yeah,
Potentially.
I'll go for it to start. He's kind of being held by. He's going to try to rip the leg out from underneath of it with his axe here. So he'll do a trip attempt. I'm going to reroll.
fail. Okay, you're going to reroll. That's going to be a critical success. So,
Okay, so it'll be D6 bludgeoning.
Yep, you can roll that. I will put him prone. Takes a little bit of damage. You are no longer grabbed.
All right, and now that it's down on the ground, he is going to bring the axe swinging down onto it with the attack penalty here
That will hit.
for 24. 15 points of slashing.
It's looking pretty beat up.
And he's going to go for the last one here. See if he can maybe get down to help Vanarel. Nope, doesn't
That
look
will
like
miss.
it. Just kind of buries into one of the thicker branches, but doesn't cut through.
Vanarel.
My extensive wounds knit up a little bit. Kind of looking over his shoulder. Thanks, Libby.
It's all I can do. I'm sorry.
That's all I need. Come here, bug. Step up to it here with my first action, and second, I'm just gonna start trying to find the important tree trunk center of this thing.
One miss.
Quite find it through all the shrubbery.
Another miss.
Ah, jeez. All right, one more deep swing into the bush.
Another miss.
There's nothing left.
Feeble 2 is killing you.
Yes, it is.
You're just those 1 or 2 off every time.
Mm-hmm.
I'll let you know right now
I
the
gotta get
AC is 19, so you were off by 1 on 2 of those, and off by 2. So all 3 of those would have hit without the enfeebled from the reincarnation. So,
I just gotta get used to the snake body. Okay, it's all right.
well, it's going to slash at you once, critically missing. It will slash at you a second time, missing. What's its third action going to be? At this point, I think it has recognized that Vanarel is a threat and that the animated assault is a bad place to be. It is going to try to leap away to there.
All right. Well, I'm going to.
That's a move action. Yep.
I'm still gonna knock it right out of the sky if I can.
You do hit it,
Get away from her, you bug.
and
Oh.
it falls in a pile of still slightly moving vines and leaves. You see maybe a flower starting to bloom where the eyes used to be. And we are up to the owl bear, which will need to stand up,
We'll bring the axe down.
which will hit.
Yeah, oh, at least I got a hit. On a
Oh, no,
natural
sorry.
three.
No,
Wow.
sorry. The hit happens after it stands up, so it misses because it's not off guard.
Okay, well, I've got 1 hero point left. I'm
You're using
rolling
it
it here.
Okay.
Why not?
Okay, that's a crit
Oh,
for minimum,
damage.
absolute minimum damage.
Double
But that
ones.
still is enough to finish it. We are out of combat. No one has persistent damage. I believe Vanarel has 2 more points of healing from the fast healing.
Well,
You
no,
can-
it's 4 points per round because it's.
It gave me
heightened.
4.
Oh, 4 points. So I think you have either. Looks like 2
so
rounds left,
two-
so you can give yourself 8 hit points back. And
I don't think I said this during combat because things were a little rushed, but these things don't come alive by themselves. It's normally some sort of fey presence that does this.
Well, hopefully they don't want to send the rest of them after us.
Yeah, I think we're gonna need a minute here to patch up to.
and you see the corpses slowly going back to where they were, and slowly reknitting themselves into their structure. They don't seem to be
Well-
alive, but they do seem to be. Something here is fixing them.
Let's get on the other side of this clearing before we do that patching up.
Yeah, let's move.
I think it's
Uh,
just straight across.
I'm going to hit Vanarel with 1 more life boost as we're walking, though.
Okay, so it'll be 16 more points effectively. I can take perception checks as well from everyone.
Sorry.
As you are passing by the middle section here, you do see what looks like a small, recently dug up area, and you see what looks like a small wooden box.
I'll approach it cautiously.
Yes, I'll.
Yeah. It's
Pull it
probably
out.
about a 4-inch by 3-inch by 3-inch box. Very ornate carvings, different colors. Some of it's wood, some of it's red, some of it's black, some of it's inlaid with like some metal. It looks very fancy and not like anything any of you have seen before.
Is it a magical box?
think we should pocket this and look at it after we're at the end of this.
Sure.
thing, yeah?
You also
I
see
know
what
what
looks
the
like
box is.
humanoid-sized paw prints in the mud around the box.
Can I identify the sort with survival or something?
Sure. I take nature or survival on that.
General looks suspiciously at the bear.
Bear's friend.
Dezi, you think it's some kind of, you're not sure what variety, but it's some sort of wolf. Warg, winter wolf. It's some sort of large wolf that's left these
I'll
footprints.
let everybody know about that, and then I suggest we get on the other side of this area, and then maybe patch everybody up. Vanarel, you can maybe do some healing.
Okay, so you're
Yeah.
heading all the way out this side.
Libby's going to refocus.
Oh, I mean, let Vanarel do the medicine.
So that'll be what, 20 minutes for your refocus?
So we,
Yeah.
we can get 2
on
medicine
that.
checks while the refocuses is happening anyways, which might be enough to top everyone off.
This is, I was still
Oh.
on blind roll for a skill. That was gonna be
That was a critical. It was a natural 20. I'm not going to make you re-roll that. So 4d8.
You can reveal.
Yes,
Right,
I can reveal. So 19 healing to someone.
That was a Daegron.
Okay.
Okay. And then I've also, if this is 20 minutes from my
The
Pearly
Aeon
White
Stone.
Spindle Aeon Stone, I'm going to get 20 health back anyway.
Want to take a shot at yourself?
Oh,
there?
that's right. That's right. You got that little thing floating around your head. Forgot
So
about
I'm
that.
I'm topped off from that.
Okay. So yeah, for the other 10, I'll wrap myself up the rest of the way. I forgot about that. That's a
That's also another 48 for you. That's another critical success.
Yeah, it's something I'm trying to make sure I keep track of when we're doing refocusing and other activities.
Hmm.
That might top you off anyways, or I mean, we might need it for situations like that. Should if there's a really a winter wolf here, we'll that could be dangerous. We're gonna continue to follow the directions, I'm assuming here, straight across,
Yeah.
and then we'll look them up.
Eyes peeled. There's maybe Fae about.
Well, given that your next destination, I believe, was even called the Fey Hinge,
Yeah.
as you make your way through the maze, eventually you come to another location. Deep within the hedge maze, you see a small clearing that holds a ring of 8 standing stones. Each stone is 5 feet tall, 3 to 4 feet wide, and arranged in a perfectly circular pattern.
Well, it doesn't say to linger here or anything, but we should go left after this.
So
But
you
do you
want
want
to?
to take a look?
And there is a pulsing green mist swirling and dancing around this area now.
We should definitely be cautious. That looks potentially unsafe. I'm not even gonna ask. This is magic. I don't need detect magic for that.
This is magic.
I do have detect magic.
Desi's going to proceed cautiously, kind of hugging towards that way, but keeping their eyes open to see if anything reacts with that. Because I know we have to go left here.
Sure. And you can give me
Yep, I'll
a
stick
perception
close to
check as
Desi.
you're doing that, all of you.
Counterintuitively, Lippy's just going to go straight in and look at this thing. She's very curious about this maze.
I will need to pause there.
Don't go into the circle, Chloe.
I will need to pause there
I'm not sure Libby should be carrying the horn anymore. I think it's affecting.
as some mushrooms erupt from the ground immediately.
Friends.
That seems likely.
Yeah, they're totally friends and not going to hurt us. Oh no, I see a trap. I'm going to run my face first into that trap.
So
I'm sorry.
yes, we'll need to put into initiative here. Let me toggle you all in. Libbiel, you are up first. You are unpaused. You see mushrooms erupt basically 10 feet out from the hinge in all sides. So you're basically inside this ring of mushrooms that have burst out of the ground.
Okay, so Libby's going to try to determine what kind of mushrooms these are, and she's going to cast Discern Secrets on herself. And then, what kind of role should I use for this?
Nature is probably the best one for this.
Cultism, maybe?
Yes, I'll allow it. You know these are a type of magical mushrooms, kind of obviously, that is more of a hazard than a creature, but it is the whole area
Oh.
within 10 feet of the rings here. You can disable it using nature or occultism as a 2-action ability, or survival to try to change the soil in a way that makes the mushrooms less happy. You also know
Well,
that as they erupted out, one of them did get an attack on you, and I need a reflex save. That is a fail, so you'll take this damage, and you are pushed a little out.
Ouch. Okay, so it's more of a hazard. She'll explain how to, disable it. I think it might be worth it to do so. I'm really bad at survival, nature, but occultism I'm pretty decent at, so I'm going to try to disable it with occultism.
You can tell you are doing quite a bit to it. You see, like, some of the outer edges of the mushroom sloughing off. You think they'd be easier to just hack now if you wanted to. You can keep disarming them. That's probably still the easier approach. But if you have no other way to disable, you think you have made them much easier to just cut down. Dezi.
Desi's not very good with the hacking, but they know a thing or two about nature. So I guess I'm assuming I'm going to need to be next to this. So I will step up and try to disable this.
That is not enough. Okay, using your halfling luck to
Nice. Why are
get
you
a worse
teasing me?
value. Daegron.
All right. How close would I have to get to swing at it? Because he doesn't have anything in the way of affecting this here.
So they extend out to 10 feet beyond the ring. You would need to be adjacent to 10 feet out. So that would work.
Okay. Yeah, he's going to get close there, and he'll just try to hack any back they're coming towards Libbiel as she's dealing with this.
That will hit.
23 to hit for 13 points of slashing.
Yeah, they would have had hardness before. Oh, and they also have a weakness to that.
And he'll miss on the second strike, but he just hacks like a big swath of them out with the axe in one swing here.
Don't bury your axe in the dirt. That doesn't do anything here.
Vanarel.
Here to form the full line. And you said survival was one of the options to shut
survival,
this thing?
nature, occultism, or survival are the things to disable it.
I will try to disable these mushrooms and send them back inside their little stone ring.
That's a failure.
I will utilize a hero point. Don't want to get destroyed by a
That
mushroom.
is a success, and they all go away.
See, it wasn't that big of a deal.
Are they guarding something?
You do
I wanna
see
go
something
look.
in the middle. Within the ring is a bundle of items wrapped up in an orange cloak.
Don't just go back
Ooh.
in there.
It's safe now, I think.
See, look, there's some supplies here.
And there's
Just gonna
stuff.
open it up.
I love stuff.
What
I
is in
love
the bundle, or what does the bundle look like?
So you see what looks like a wrapped up cloak. It looks like maybe someone was using this maybe as a pillow and sleeping here. But inside the cloak, you see an ornate flute. You think made out of some kind of plant. Some what looks like packed rice patties, and a jar of paint. That's actually matching some of the graffiti-looking runes on the insides of all of these stones.
Can I
Um,
tell what kind of runes these are?
They look like nature-ish runes.
Oh, I have no familiarity with these runes.
That flute seems weird. I'm gonna try to kind of identify what sort of thing might have done this, because presumably this was caused by whoever owned that.
Sure. Like there's ancient runes that look like they are protective in nature, that probably are stopping the stones from decaying and being worn down over the years. But the painted runes on top of them, you're not sure. They look, your best guess is something on the enchantment side of magic, but you're not sure what they're trying to do. And the effects you saw of these mushrooms does not seem to be enchantment based, so you don't know how they are connected.
You said the flute looked like it was made from, like, not a regular wooden flute. It's made of entangled vines or some such, or is it just a regular?
It looks like it's made out of something that's wood-like, vine-like. Your characters might not know. The players would recognize it as bamboo, but I don't know
I
if you
mean,
have
I
any
will-
exposure to bamboo.
I would like to take it.
Yeah, we'll grab these things and, you can have them, Libbiel. That's fine. They are not interesting enough to go in the evidence bag.